My name is Melanie Deronia, reporter with WestfordCAT, and here is this week's edition of WestfordCAT News. A public hearing has officially opened regarding proposed zoning bylaw amendment that could regulate future firearms businesses in town. The proposal is co-sponsored by the Planning Board and Select Board and aims to limit firearms businesses to commercial highway and industrial highway zoning districts. The bylaw will also limit the number of special permits that can be granted to businesses in town to 4. A number of residents spoke out in favor of the proposal during the June 5th hearing. Resident Jody Marchand, a proponent of the bylaw, says she is, quote, in shock that our town known for the school system and Kimball Farm will now be known as the town with the gun shops, end quote. Some, like resident Gloria Miller, cited concerns over the town having, quote, more options to purchase a gun than a bra, end quote. Miller also added that the town has, quote, a history of limiting commercial development, end quote, referencing limits on drive-thrus, restaurants, and a ban on non-medical cannabis retailers. A number of residents cited a bylaw amendment recently passed in Acton, which limits the number of special permits to 2. Acton is currently awaiting review from the Massachusetts Attorney General's office on their amendment. However, others felt setting a limit on the amount of firearms businesses would be too restrictive. Resident and First Middlesex Republican State Committee woman Kathy Lynch said, quote, we've never had a restriction before and we don't have many firearms businesses. Just because you're allowing for 4 or 5 doesn't mean there are going to be 4 or 5 businesses, end quote. Resident Arnold Price also cited data from the Firearms Record Bureau, where nearly 65% of Massachusetts communities have no active gunsmithing retailer, 55% of communities have no active firearms dealers, and 41% of communities have no businesses with a license to sell ammunition. The public hearing will continue during the July 17th Planning Board meeting. The proposal will be considered at a Westford Special Town meeting no later than October 16th. Residents who are unable to attend in person may submit written comments via email to planningboardstaff@westfordma.gov. The nonprofit Strides for Sotelo held its first 5K memorial run in honor of Emily Sotelo, a member of Westford Academy's class of 2021 on June 11th. Michelle Sotelo, sister of Emily Sotelo, organized the 5K as a way to, quote, hold on to the memory she shared with her sister. She added, quote, I want it to be something to celebrate what we shared in common as the 2 active people in our life, and it's how I stayed close to her. This was something we could always go back to, end quote. Michelle Sotelo organized the race with German teacher Ashley Smith and friend Chandra Thay. Together, they mapped up the trail, found sponsors, and designed the event website. Westford residents and WA students alike attended in support of Michelle Sotelo and her family. Westford Academy student Shriva Saroon said, quote, my family was really touched by the story of Emily Sotelo. It's a great cause and it's a win-win. You get to run a race and support this great family, end quote. Smith added, quote, it means a lot to have people show up. It says a lot about Westford Academy as a school and Westford as a town, that so many people wanted to come out and support Michelle, end quote. All profits from this event will go toward a scholarship in Emily Sotelo's name. Any access will be given to the New Hampshire Search and Rescue Team and Dream Dene, a Navajo reservation the Sotelo sisters previously worked at. Westford's Economic Development Committee originally requested $95,000 in American Rescue Plan Act funds in order to hire an individual who will serve as Westford's Economic Business Development Coordinator. The funding request from the Economic Development Committee was originally intended to fund a new position, but officials opted to use funds to hire a consultant due to budgetary concerns. Quote, my concern is what happens when there are no more funds and we have to get this in the budget, and if we don't get this in the budget, we would lose the position, said Select Board member Andrea Perraner-Sweet during a June 6th meeting. Select Board Vice Chair Scott Hazelton added that, quote, laying off a consultant is different from laying off a town employee, end quote. Select Board Chair Tom Clay says the service would be, quote, designed to end, end quote. Economic Development Committee member Alexander Mancuso said during a May 9th Select Board meeting. The primary goal of a future position would be to serve as, quote,
the primary point of contact for all of Westford's economic development efforts.
Among surrounding cities and towns such as Chelmsford, Tingsboro, Carlisle, Lowell, and Billerica, Westford is the only town without a permanent economic development position. Mancuso added, quote, in my view, Westford could be doing more to both grow its existing businesses and to attract new businesses here in town, end quote. A number of students were recently awarded their share of $10,000 in scholarships from the Scholarships and Grant Committee. 9 students from Westford Academy and 1 student from Neshoba Tech were selected out of a pool of 84 applicants to each receive a $1,000 award. Congratulations to Westford Academy students Joshua Bearfield, who will be attending Worcester Polytechnic Institute, Kyle Fan, who will be attending Case Western Reserve University, Josh Forty, who will be attending Marquette University, Ben Jones, who will be attending Bentley University, Sophia Kiang, who will be attending the University of Pennsylvania, Kirsten O'Connell, who will be attending the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Ava Seidlinger, who will be attending Suffolk University, Madison Walsh, who will be attending Stony Brook University, Andy Zinn, who will be attending the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and Neshoba Tech senior Chloe Greenslade, who will be attending Merrimack College this fall. Next week, learn about the new bias form from the Middlesex County DA's office and how the Westford Police Department and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee will collaborate in the future to respond to bias incidents in town. That's all for this week. I'm Melanie Duronio, and you're watching WestfordCAT News.